Based on formation, as I said you, express contracts. These are the one, terms are explicitly stated either orally or in writing or at the time of agreement. So based on this, they are explicitly means exclusively they are stated. Either it can be oral, writing, at the time of agreement itself, the terms are expressly stated. Coming to the implied contracts, coming to the implied contracts, they arise from the conduct of the parties where a contract is inferred from their actions. So here, the terms are not expressly said, but they are inferred. Inferred in the sense the parties themselves will understand the terms and they know it, that they have to fulfill it. So inferred from actions is the main point here, that the parties won't expressly say it, but they will be understanding it from the actions or either the behavior or the circumstances. You can say that, as I said you, the example can be a shopping. So where the person won't expressly offer you something, but he displays everything, and wherein you will be understanding that if you are willing to buy it, you can go and buy it. So there is infertion from the actions itself, but not expressly giving you the offer. So that one can be said as an implied contract. Coming to the quasi contract, it is not a true contract. Quasi contract cannot be said as a true contract, but a legal action imposed by a court to prevent unjust enrichment. That means one person cannot benefit from the other party's obligations. That unjust enrichment is a very much important point in the quasi contract. It is a legal obligation wherein one person cannot benefit from the other person's obligation, right? At the expense of another. That means if one person is having some profit and he is willing to do loss for other, that is not allowed within the quasi contract. That is what they want to say. Then coming to the next one, e-contract. So e-contract is nothing but a contract formed electronically, often via the internet. So generally nowadays, in the times of modern era or in the time of where we are preferring all the internet shopping and all that, we are just placing an order in order to get a delivery in our house or in our doorsteps. So that contract can be termed as an e-contract, wherein a contract formed electronically. That means we are not physically offering or we are not physically accepting, but we are doing it via the electronic media. So that can be termed as a e-contract. Now coming to the based on obligations, as I told you, bilateral contracts. Both parties exchange promises and each has obligation to the other. So here the main thing is about the promises. One party is promising to fulfill an obligation for the other party. The other party is also similarly doing it with the first party, and each has obligations. Here main point is that both of them are having obligations to the other. For example, a sale contract, when one party promises to deliver goods and the other promises to pay. So like this, I can give you an example here that one person is willing to order 100 kgs of wheat. So he is ordering 100 kgs of wheat from a trader. The other person has to fulfill this obligation because he has raised an obligation, right? So one party has raised an obligation to the other that he needs to provide with the 100 kgs of wheat, and that is the obligation by one party, and the other party in exchange will give an obligation that he need to pay the price for the 100 kgs of wheat. Like that, both the parties exchange promises and each has obligation to the other. For example, a sales contract where one party promises to deliver goods and the other promises to pay. In my example here, one party is saying that he needs to give the delivery and the other person needs to fulfill the promise by paying him the price. So this can be a correct example for the bilateral contract. Coming to the unilateral contract, one party makes a promise in exchange for the other party's performance of a specific act. That means if one person, he will say that if you are doing this, I will give you this. For example, a reward contract for finding a lost item. So you will anytime see many pamphlets or pictures which are sticked in the public places, wherein they will say that if you find this person, we will be giving you some reward. So such contracts are said to be unilateral contracts, wherein if we found someone missing, then the award or the reward will be given to that person. So that can be said as a unilateral contract. Here only one party is having the obligation to find the person who has been lost. So like that, it can be in such way that unilateral contracts where one person is only having a obligation or a promise or makes a promise in exchange for the other party's performance. So like that, it can be one party. So that is the main difference between the bilateral as well as unilateral contracts, where here each of the party will have the obligations, but here only one party makes the promises in exchange for the other party's performance. Then coming to the multilateral contracts. Multilateral contracts involves 3 or more parties. Till here, we have read there are only 2 parties to contract. One person is offer, the other person is taking the acceptance, and here the contract is forming. But sometimes there are contracts which involve more than 3, minimum of 3 and more than 3. Then those contracts can be termed as multilateral contracts, and rights and obligations among them. These multilateral contracts have rights and obligations among them. That means all the 3 parties or all the parties who are involved in the contract will have certain rights towards each other, and or rather obligations are also there for each other, among each other for them to fulfill. So this is how multilateral contract is different from the bilateral as well as the unilateral. Right. Coming to the next one. Now we'll come to the definitions of types of contracts. Valid contract. Valid contract, as I said you, it satisfies all the legal requirements and fully enforceable. That means it can be proved under the court of law. Second one is void contract. It is not legally binding from the outset as it lacks one or more essential elements. As I said you, if one of the essential element, or rather all or none of it are fulfilled, then those contracts can be termed as a void contracts, right? Coming to the third one, voidable contracts. Voidable contracts, first they are valid, but one party has the option to cancel or rescind it. That means one party will not fulfill the obligations given in the contract. It due to factors like fraud. He can do any fraud in between, duress, or undue influence. Undue influence is nothing but based on the mental pressure. So I can give you a very great example here that initially when I was I just promised that I will be delivering a kind of lectures for somebody for around 5 hours. So what happened? Initially, I've completed 1 or 2 classes, I was done. Then what happened? In between itself, I will change my mind and I'll not provide the lectures. What will happen at that time? I am a party where I'm making a contract, but I am not doing it in between. Leaving it in between can be said as a fraud, doing fraud with the people, right? That's how you can say that voidable contracts, one party has the option to cancel it or rescind it due to factors like fraud, duress, or undue influence. The reasons can be any of these 3, but here one party will cancel the contract. That can be the one called as voidable contracts. Coming to the illegal contracts, as I already said you, a contract that violates the law or public policy is therefore unenforceable. Obviously, by the term itself, when the terms itself are illegal, or not enforceable, then we can say that contract to be an illegal contract. Example of it can be smuggling, carry, like businesses which are not good, harmful for the people, you can do it, those businesses, like liquor manufacture. These are all illegal businesses or which violates the law or public policy, and those contracts are not either unenforceable. They are not enforceable in the court of law, and those contracts can be said as an illegal contracts. Coming to the next part, unenforceable contract. So a contract that is valid but cannot be enforced due to a technically such as the statute of limitations. That is, it cannot be taken to the court of law because of the limitations, or because of the law has certain restrictions in order to take certain cases or certain matters to the court of law. So because of that, statute is nothing but a law. Because of the limitations of the law, some matters cannot be taken to the court of law. Such matters come under this unenforceable contracts. Basically, in simple terms, I can say that these contracts cannot be taken to the court of law because of the law limitations. So, those contracts come under unenforceable contract. Example, something related to a woman's power, something related to women's, those are limited by the law. The law has given certain restrictions that those matters should not be taken up. As some of the laws, some of the things like Islamic culture, they have certain things which should not be revealed between the public. So those contracts can be termed as an unenforceable contracts. Examples of such, some religion related laws. So these are the ones which we can say that these are unenforceable contracts. Coming to the next one, executed contracts. Here, both parties have fully performed. Both parties have fully performed their obligations. That can be termed as an executed contract. We can say that the contract is correctly finished. Contract is fulfilled with all the terms. Those can be said as an executed contract. Coming to the second one, executory contract. In this, one or both parties have not yet completed their obligation. So as I said you, one party has fulfilled his obligation, the other party is yet to fulfill it. So that can be coming as an executory contract. Executory contract, you can take an example of, I have delivered goods, but amount will be received in EMIs. So EMIs contract can be termed as an executory contract, right? Wherein the people will pay the part of the installments every month, but the ownership has been already given to the person. That means the good has been delivered to the person, but yet the payment yet have to be received. That is, the payment has to be made by the person who has already received the goods in part, that is called as installments, right? Partly executed and partly executory contract. One party has performed but the other has not. So partly executed one and partly executory. That means one party has performed but the other has not. So those contracts can be said as partly executed and partly executory contracts.